My name is Nathan Walker, and I live in New York City, a place where the lights never dim and the pace of life never slows. Skyscrapers scrape the sky. Dreams are built and broken daily, and in the endless bustle, it's easy to lose yourself. From anyone looking in from the outside, my life might have seemed picture perfect. A stable career, a happy family, and a beautiful wife, Emily, whom I had loved with everything I had for 15 years. We built a life together from the ground up through struggles, laughter, and promises whispered in the dead of night. I never imagined that one day I would be facing a truth so painful, so unbelievable. It would shatter everything I thought I knew. That late afternoon, as the sun dipped behind the towering skyline and a soft amber glow filled the sky, I sat alone in our kitchen, nursing a cold cup of coffee. The glow of the streetlights outside cast long shadows into the room, but inside my heart felt even darker. I stared out of the window, watching the taxis blur past and people living lives untouched by the devastation brewing inside me. Lately, Emily and I had been growing distant. She was coming home later and later. Our date nights had become rare events, and our conversations had shrunk into hollow exchanges about groceries, errands, and obligations. An invisible wall had built itself between us, brick by painful brick, until I felt like a stranger in my own home. I'm not a man of many words. I often retreat into my work, using it as a shield against emotions too overwhelming to face. But this was different. Even in the busiest seasons of our lives, Emily and I had always found a way back to each other. Our bond had weathered storms before. Now it felt like she was slipping through my fingers and I didn't know how to stop it. Evenings became a ritual of waiting for the sound of the door, the hope of her warm smile, the desperate wish that she would look at me the way she used to. But each time she came home, she brushed past me with barely a glance, treating me like a ghost haunting our own home. I understood work could be draining, deadlines could be brutal, but this was something more, something worse, something deliberate. Then came the moment of truth. That evening, Emily walked in, dropping her purse on the table, not even sparing me a glance. She began undressing silently, mechanically, as if I weren't even there. I watched her, the familiar motions suddenly feeling foreign, like watching a stranger in a life that used to be mine. The unease that had been gnawing at my soul grew into a certainty. I couldn't keep pretending anymore. I set my coffee down with a quiet, deliberate motion and stood up. Emily, I said, my voice calm but carrying an edge of steel. She paused, turning toward me with a look so neutral it made my heart ache. What's going on? She asked, as if we were strangers. I tried to keep my tone light, to mask the storm raging inside me, but the words came out heavy, burdened with months of pain. I know you're cheating on me, I said, my voice low, almost a whisper, and I suspect it's been going on for a long time. Her eyes widened slightly. For a fleeting moment, a fake smile tried to form on her lips, a smile of fear, not relief. You're starting this again, she sighed, trying to deflect, her voice casual, dismissive. Nathan, you know how busy work gets. What's going on with you? Can't you accept that sometimes I have meetings that run late? I shook my head, feeling an unfamiliar steadiness settled in my bones. You say I can't accept it, I said slowly, but that's not the issue. You come home late, you go on vague work trips, you hide your phone like it holds state secrets. I'm not stupid, Emily. She stood there saying nothing, her face empty of emotion. And then the dagger twisted deeper. Why can't you understand? She said, her voice sharper now. I have needs, Nathan. For years, you haven't been able to satisfy me. I needed something else. My heart clenched so tightly it was hard to breathe. So you're saying I'm not good enough? I asked, trying and failing to keep the hurt out of my voice. She pursed her lips, searching for words, but when they came, they were sharp and brutal. I'm not saying that, but you don't understand what I need. We haven't been the same for a long time. Her words cut through me more deeply than I thought possible, but instead of anger, all I felt was an endless hollow ache. I stood up, moving closer to her, my hands clenched tightly at my sides. I don't care what you do, I said quietly, but I can't accept the lies. I can't be treated like I'm nothing. Her eyes shifted, arrogance and calmness melting away into fear. She realized then that something had fundamentally changed. After a long silence, she whispered, "Can't you forgive me?" I looked at her, my chest burning. I wanted to say yes. God, I wanted to believe in the life we had built. But the words wouldn't come. No, Emily, you chose this path. Now I have to choose mine. She stood there, frozen, tears brimming in her eyes. The weight of what was happening, what was truly ending between us, seemed to crash down around her. She tried to move closer to me, but I took a step back, holding up a hand. I'm so tired, I said. Tired of waiting for you to see me, tired of living in a marriage where I'm invisible. Tears slipped down her cheeks, but I didn't feel pity anymore. I didn't feel anything but exhaustion. Do you know what it feels like? I asked, my voice rising slightly, watching you go out with other men, pretending everything's normal. I'm your husband, Emily. Or at least I was. She turned away, unable to meet my gaze. When she finally spoke, her voice was hollow. I don't love them, she said. It was just, I was lonely. Lonely, I echoed bitterly. You stopped seeing me as your partner long before I stopped trying. You gave up, Emily. You abandoned us. She broke down completely then, sobbing uncontrollably. She tried to say she was sorry, that she loved me, that she didn't know why she had done it. But it was too late. It's not about saying sorry now, I said, my voice stronger than it had been in months. It's about what you've done, and I won't live like this anymore. I watched her collapse onto the couch, her body racked with sobs. I felt no satisfaction, only a cold, heavy sense of finality. When Emily left our home for good, the apartment felt empty, eerily quiet, but not in a painful way. It was a different kind of silence. It was freedom. I made a decision then. I would rebuild myself piece by piece. No more living under the weight of betrayal. No more shrinking into myself to avoid the pain. I started small, working out, reading books I'd neglected, revisiting old passions, photography, running, even cooking, things I'd set aside during our crumbling marriage. I traveled to places we'd once dreamed of visiting together. I discovered the healing power of solitude. And yet, despite everything, part of me still smoldered with resentment. I wasn't the kind of man who sought revenge, but I couldn't just let her betrayal disappear without consequence. She had shattered something sacred between us. Quietly, carefully, I gathered the evidence I collected over time. Messages, photos, recordings, proof of the lies. I followed her discreetly, confirming what I had suspected. The affairs with David, Bob, and others, it no longer enraged me, it solidified my resolve. The night I confronted her was the night I took my life back. I sat in the dark, waiting for her to come home. When she walked through the door, I stood up, my heart steady, my mind clear. Nathan, she said nervously, I didn't expect you to be home. I know, I replied coolly. I know everything, Emily. David, Bob, all of it. Her face drained of color. She opened her mouth to speak, but I held up my hand. I said, don't insult me with more lies. I opened my laptop and played the video, her dates, her smiles, her kisses, all recorded, all undeniable. Tears streamed down her face, but I felt nothing. You thought you could keep deceiving me, I said. But now, you face the consequences. She sobbed, begging for forgiveness, swearing she still loved me. But it was meaningless, for love had come at the cost of my dignity, my trust. I'm done, I said simply. In the days that followed, Emily tried to call, to apologize, to beg for another chance. Each time I stayed strong. Each time I refused to be drawn back into her web of regrets. I wasn't the same man anymore. I spent the following months rebuilding my life from the ground up. I reconnected with friends. I explored new passions. I rediscovered who I was before betrayal tainted everything. I even found joy in the simplest moments, watching a sunrise, tasting food I'd cooked with my own hands, laughing without restraint. And slowly, the memory of Emily faded. The pain dulled. The anger dissolved. I found peace in solitude, strength, and independence. I realized something powerful. Revenge wasn't liberation. Neither was forgiveness. True freedom was choosing myself, choosing a life where I would never again allow someone to diminish me. And so I moved forward, stronger, wiser, freer, into a new life where the light within me would never be extinguished again.